Welcome to this week's deep dive. We're tackling cybersecurity. You sent over a stack of news articles, so
Mhm.
um, we're going to break down the biggest takeaways.
Yeah, some really juicy stories to unpack. A potential Silicon Valley expose brewing on Netflix. The fallout from a major data leak.
Okay.
It's- You won't believe how even a secure phone can be hacked without you even lifting a finger.
Hold on. My phone can be hacked without me doing anything. Okay. We are definitely getting to that. But first, let's start with a story about the world of cryptocurrency and the importance of playing by the rules.
Absolutely. One of the articles you shared details the SEC's recent settlement with eToro, an online trading platform that had to pay a $1.5 million fine for operating illegally.
Okay. 1.5 million. That's a lot of money. What exactly were they doing that got them in such hot water?
Essentially, eToro is acting as both a broker and a clearing agency without registering with the SEC for either activity.
Oh, wow.
In simpler terms, a clearing agency helps finalize trades and transfers money between buyers and sellers.
So, they were essentially cutting out the middleman. And the regulation's designed to protect investors.
Exactly. And the SEC is sending a clear message with this fine. They are cracking down on unregistered crypto platforms to protect investors. It's a reminder that this industry is evolving. But the rules are still the rules.
Especially with so much money at stake, the FBI reported that losses from crypto scams topped $5.6 billion in 2023.
And they believe that number is actually much higher, maybe closer to 10 or even
Yeah.
$15 billion, since many people are hesitant to report these types of losses.
Wow, that's a huge amount of money disappearing into the digital ether. So what does this mean for you? It underscores the need to be extremely cautious when venturing into the world of cryptocurrency. You should do thorough research and make sure any platform you use is properly registered with the SEC before you even think about investing. Now, let's switch gears to a story that has Hollywood buzzing. Netflix has just acquired the rights to a new series called Thumblight, described as a Silicon Valley thriller.
Think Succession. Keeping your systems safe is super important as businesses rely more and more on digital systems, and that's where turnkey cybersecurity can really help.
Yeah, we're here to help small businesses just like yours make sure they're safe and sound in this crazy world of cybersecurity. And we offer a whole suite of services specifically tailored for you. So that's ensuring CMMC compliance and doing penetration testing. We also run vulnerability scans, and we can help you develop a comprehensive risk assessment.
And it doesn't stop there, right?
No, it doesn't.
We handle incident response, should the unfortunate happen, and we guide you through migrations like GCC. We just want to make sure your transitions are smooth and that you're secure.
It's all about peace of mind, right? You focus on what you do best, running your business, and we'll make sure that your digital world is safe and sound.
We're diving into the world of tech CEOs.
A thriller with tech CEOs. I'm already intrigued. And get this. Apparently, some major tech giants like Amazon and Apple didn't even bid on the series.
Interesting, right? This has sparked a lot of speculation, with many believing that these companies were worried of the potential for negative portrayals of the tech industry.
So, this series could be a peek behind the curtain of Silicon Valley, revealing some of the not-so-glamorous aspects of the tech world. This could be a real eye-opener for anyone fascinated by the industry. Now, let's move on to a story about a real-life cyber attack and the decision to stand up to hackers. The Port of Seattle recently suffered a major cyber attack and chose not to pay the ransom.
A bold move, but it came with consequences, even without paying. The port is dealing with the uncertainty of what data was stolen and the arduous process of getting their systems back online.
It sounds like a messy situation. Were they able to recover from the attack?
They were able to bring the majority of their systems back online within a week. But this underscores the critical point that refusing to pay a ransom doesn't mean you escape unscathed.
That's a good point. You're still left with the potential damage of a data leak and the disruption to operations. This is a wake-up call for everyone, not just big organizations like the Port of Seattle, that cybersecurity is about more than just protecting your computer. It's about your data, your reputation, your ability to function.
Exactly. Now, get ready for this. Researchers have discovered vulnerabilities in the baseband processors of several popular smartphones.
Okay. Baseband processors. For those of us who aren't tech wizards, can you break that down a bit?
Think of it this way. Your phone has lots of mini computers inside, each handling a specific task. The baseband processor is like a communication hub, handling the signals between your phone and cell towers. It's essentially the radio part of your phone.
So, what's wrong with that?
Well, these newly discovered vulnerabilities could allow hackers to create a sort of digital side entrance into your phone. potentially allowing them to intercept calls, track your location, and
Yeah.
even steal your data.
So, someone could be spying on my calls and stealing my data. This is making me a bit nervous. What's even more concerning is, you mentioned earlier that this attack can happen without any user interaction.
That's right. These attacks can happen silently in the background without you ever clicking on a suspicious link or downloading a shady app.
So even if I'm super careful, my phone could still be vulnerable.
And what's even more concerning is that these vulnerabilities affect processors from Samsung, MediaTek, and Qualcomm, which are used in phones from brands like Google, OPPO, OnePlus, Motorola, and Samsung.
So a lot of people are potentially at risk.
Exactly. And while not all phone models were tested, this discovery highlights the importance of staying informed about security updates and patches. For every component of your device, we often focus on updating our operating system. But it's important to remember all those hidden chips inside play a role in your security too.
Okay. This deep dive is really making me question everything about my digital life. And speaking of things we rely on every day, our next story involves TD Bank and a major blunder. That landed them with a $28 million fine.
TD Bank was caught sending inaccurate information, including credit card delinquencies and even bankruptcies, to credit bureaus, impacting hundreds of thousands of customers.
Wow, that's a huge mistake.
It gets worse. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the agency that issued the fine, stated that TD Bank knew about this issue, but didn't take sufficient steps to fix it. They said TD Bank barely lifted a finger to fix it. Imagine the impact on people's credit scores and their ability to get loans
Yeah.
or even jobs.
That's terrifying. It makes you wonder how something like this could slip through the cracks at such a large institution. This emphasizes why you should regularly check your credit reports for errors and dispute anything that's inaccurate.
Absolutely. You have the right to access your credit reports for free from each of the major credit bureaus annually. Don't wait until you're applying for a loan to find out there's a mistake.
Yeah. Great advice. Now, let's move from personal finance to the football field. The NFL is exploring using facial recognition technology in their stadiums, but this has sparked some controversy with the police union.
The NFL wants to use facial scans for everyone entering restricted areas, including police officers, as a way to enhance security. However, the police union is pushing back against the NFL's request for officers to waive certain rights related to data sharing, retention, and liability in case of a data breach.
It sounds like they're being asked to give up some pretty significant protections.
They are. The union is concerned about the potential misuse of their biometric data and the lack of clear safeguards to protect their privacy.
It raises questions about the trade-offs between security and privacy. Is it worth sacrificing our privacy for increased security? What happens to all that facial recognition data? Who has access to it?
And if they're doing this with police officers, is it a slippery slope towards applying this to fans in the future?
It's definitely a complex issue with no easy answers. Now, before we wrap up part one of our deep dive, let's turn to some practical advice from cybersecurity expert Mitch Chambaum, who offered some valuable tips on how to protect your bank account information online.
He stressed the importance of taking proactive security measures, especially for online banking. He suggested utilizing the alert and security features offered by your bank, such as setting up alerts for low balances, unusual activity, or new inquiries on your account. These features can vary depending on your bank, but they're generally easy to find and activate.
He also highlighted the importance of two-factor authentication, which adds an extra layer of security by requiring you to confirm your identity using a separate device or method.
Yes, two-factor authentication is a powerful tool that can help prevent unauthorized access to your accounts. He even mentioned using a hard token, which is a small, physical device that generates a unique code for logging in.
Okay. I have to admit, hard token is a new one for me. What exactly is that?
It's essentially a more secure form of two-factor authentication. Imagine a tiny keychain device. That generates a new code every 30 seconds or so. You need that code, in addition to your password, to log into your account. Because it's a physical device, it's much harder for hackers to intercept or duplicate, compared to a code sent through a text or email.
It sounds like something out of a spy movie.
Right. But it's a reminder that there are lots of tools available to help us stay safe online.
Well, I am definitely going to check my bank's website and explore those security options. It's amazing how all these stories are connected, even though they seem so different at first glance, whether we're talking about investing in crypto, watching a show on Netflix, or even just using our phones. Cybersecurity is woven into every aspect of our digital lives.
It really is. And it's clear from these articles that the landscape is constantly changing, with new threats emerging all the time.
Okay, so back to the Port of Seattle for a moment. I'm
Yeah.
curious, did the articles mention who might have been behind that cyber attack?
Unfortunately, no. The articles don't provide any specifics about the hackers. It's often difficult to pinpoint the source of these attacks, because these groups are very skilled at covering their tracks.
So it's like a digital whodunit. That makes it even more unsettling. But whoever was responsible, the Port of Seattle's story is a valuable lesson for all of us.
It really is. It underscores the need to be prepared, to have a strong cybersecurity strategy in place. That includes preventative measures, a solid plan for responding to incidents, and comprehensive data backup procedures.
And it's a reminder that even with the best defenses, anyone can be a target. No system is completely impenetrable.
That's right. Cybersecurity is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. Now, let's talk about a story that's generating a lot of negative attention, and for good reason.
Now, let's talk about a story that's raising a lot of questions about the balance between security and privacy. What are your thoughts on the NFL's proposal to use facial recognition technology in their stadiums?
It's a fascinating case study. You can certainly understand the NFL's motivation to increase security, especially in light of recent events, and concerns about potential threats.
Right. But the police union's concerns about privacy and data protection are completely valid. It's a slippery slope. When you start collecting and storing biometric data like facial scans on a massive scale.
And the waivers the NFL is asking officers to sign are particularly concerning. They are essentially being asked to give up their rights. Regarding how their data is used and shared,
It raises serious questions about accountability and transparency. Who exactly has access to this data? How long is it stored? What safeguards are in place to prevent misuse? These are all critical questions that need to be addressed.
exactly. And it's not just about the police officers who would be directly affected. What about the fans? If the NFL is collecting facial recognition data on employees, what's to stop them from expanding that to fans in the future?
That's a pretty scary thought. Imagine going to a football game and having your face scanned and stored in a database without your knowledge or consent.
And it's not as far-fetched as it might seem. We're already seeing facial recognition technology being used in various public spaces, from airports to shopping malls. The question is, where do we draw the line?
It's a complex debate. As this technology becomes more prevalent, we need to have a serious conversation as a society about the potential consequences and how to protect individual privacy rights. We need to carefully consider the trade-offs between security and privacy and find a way to harness the benefits of technology without sacrificing our fundamental freedoms. Now, let's wrap up our deep dive with something a bit more positive. Remember those tips from cybersecurity expert Mitch Chambum about protecting your bank account online?
Yes, he offers some practical advice that everyone can benefit from.
He really emphasized taking a proactive approach to online banking security. He walked through some of the security features offered by Wells Fargo as an example, highlighting the importance of utilizing alerts and two-factor authentication.
Those are excellent starting points. Two-factor authentication adds a crucial extra layer of security by requiring you to confirm your identity through a separate method, like a text message code, in addition to your password.
He also mentioned using a hard token, which is a small physical device. That generates a unique code for logging in.
That's right. A hard token is a more secure form of two-factor authentication because it's a physical device. That is much harder for hackers to intercept or duplicate.
I'm definitely going to check my bank's website and see what security options they offer. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Taking a few simple steps to enhance your online security can significantly reduce your risk of fraud and identity theft.
It's incredible how interconnected all these stories are, each revealing a different piece of the cybersecurity puzzle. From financial scams to data breaches, vulnerabilities in our devices, and even ethical questions about facial recognition, it's clear that cybersecurity isn't just a tech issue. It's something that affects every part of our lives.
It really is. And it's constantly evolving. What might be considered secure today could be vulnerable tomorrow.
That's a bit daunting. So, what's the most important takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about as they navigate their digital lives?
Awareness is key. Stay informed about the latest threats and vulnerabilities. Be cautious about the information you share online. And most importantly, take advantage of the security tools and resources that are available to you.
It's like that saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. A little effort up front can save you a lot of trouble down the road. And don't hesitate to ask questions if you're unsure about something. Reach out to your bank, your tech support, or even a trusted cybersecurity expert. There's no shame in seeking help and advice.
We've explored a lot of risks and challenges today, but let's not forget the incredible potential of technology. As technology continues to advance, how can we find the right balance between harnessing its benefits and safeguarding our privacy and security?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's an ongoing challenge that will only become more complex as technology evolves.
Right.
But I believe the key is to foster a culture of responsible innovation, where we prioritize ethics and human values alongside technological progress.
So, it's not just about creating new tech, but about being mindful of its impact and potential consequences.
Precisely. It's about having open and honest conversations, collaboration between governments, industry leaders, and individuals, and a commitment to developing and implementing strong safeguards. It's about thinking ahead, anticipating potential problems, and finding solutions proactively, rather than reacting after something goes wrong.
That's a great point. It's about shaping the future of technology in a way that benefits everyone while protecting our rights and freedoms.
Exactly. We all have a role to play in creating a safer and more secure digital world.
That's a wrap on this week's deep dive into the world of cybersecurity. We hope you found it informative and empowering.
And to our listeners, I encourage you to continue exploring this topic, stay informed, and engage in these important conversations. The future of technology is in our hands.
Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe online.